Round 4 of the tournament. I'm playing against one of my friends. He is a Scrum player, as you can see from his rating. Also, he was 1800 a few months ago and now he is gaining all the rating back. I suggest you to watch this game because it is basically everything you shouldn't do in a classical game. Everything. So, let's start. He played knight on f3. Now, he knew I was playing the Semislav, and he wanted to surprise me by playing this move, and he probably was going to play a King's Indian attack. So basically, after they play knight on f3, you play d5, they play g3. So they basically want to play a Catalan, but without playing something like d4 or c4. They just develop pieces and castle, as simple as that. So you usually play knight on f6, they think it to the bishop. Now you can play c6, which is a good line. Or for example e6, they castle, you develop the bishop, usually on e7, and yeah, let's say they play d3, this is the position, you castle, knight bd2, you play c5, you take a lot of space on the queen side, and yeah, it is complicated and you need to know theory. But since I didn't know that, I decided to play a different line, because I saw a line a few days ago where at this point, after they play g3, you don't have to play knight on f6 or d6 or c6. You can punish the fact that they still didn't take control of the center, and you can play knight on c6. So this was prep, and by playing this move, I wanted to make him go out of theory, because he didn't know how to play this opening at all. He just wanted to play this because we both were out of theory, basically. At this point, he decided to play d4. d4 is basically the only move, because I'm threatening to play e5. So if you allow me to play e5, you just lose. So the point of this is that you have to play d4 at this point, and now I can play bishop on f5. And what is the point? You might say you want to castle long. No, it's not that. The point of bishop on f5 is that after you play bishop on g2, I want to play knight on b4. As stupid as this looks, it has a point, which is stupid. I mean, it is stupid. They had to play knight on e3 because there is no way to defend this otherwise. So they play knight on e3, and basically you're saying, okay, I'm wasting a time with my knight, but your knight is misplaced. Now I play e6 and I'll figure it out, and we play a different position. Which is true, although the thing I didn't know in this opening is that if you just don't know theory, you get absolutely demolished in 2 seconds. Yeah, this was the problem, and that's why I'm not going to play this anymore, because having the knight on this square is stupid. I don't like this at all. So my opponent decided to play c4, which is not the best move, and I knew that. I knew that the move was c3, and or short castle apparently, but let's say you play c3, I have a knight on c6, then you play queen on b3, rook on b8. And this is stupid. Although it kind of works. But he decided to play c4, which is good for black. It's not the best move. You should play h5 apparently, which is crazy, or bishop e7. So in the database they played bishop on e7 4 times. Well, this position was played 17 times, so yeah, it is bad. And you should play bishop on e7. What I did was a losing mistake. At move 6, I played a losing move at move 6. So, first of all, when I said this is everything you shouldn't do in a classical game, well, you shouldn't play something you don't know. I mean, I knew the main line, or kinda knew the main line, but if your opponent plays something different and you have never played this opening, because I never played this opening, you're going to get destroyed, because you don't know sidelines, you don't know theory, and you lose. Because it's hard to play something you have never played. That's the problem. So I don't have experience with this stuff at all. I have experience with the French, with the Semislav, so the bishop is already outside the chain, which is not something I usually see. The knight is in a position that basically no one has in a game. So yeah, it is difficult, and I already blundered. Why? Because if you play knight 25, I get destroyed. That's it. What am I going to play? c6? Okay. They can play e4 first of all, and then they take the pawn. I mean, you can almost resign in this position. My pieces are terrible. Developing is going to be a struggle. He has a lot of space, and I'm going to get destroyed because this diagonal is super weak. So there is a tactic now, apparently. You can take the pawn, because if queen take, I have this check, but there is queen on e2. Queen on e2, you play b5. Bishop on e3, my opponent is developing everything. Queen on d8, and I don't know, rook on d1. Good luck. Good luck surviving this. So yeah, going back, knight on e5 was the best move. My opponent played instead short castle. So we both didn't know theory, we didn't know how to punish our mistakes, but even after you castle, I mean, taking is stupid. It doesn't make any sense because I'm weakening this diagonal. My point was that I'm going to play c6. I mean, I saw this stuff, I saw that, and I thought I was fast enough defending everything. I thought I'm going to give the pawn back and I should be fine, although it's not true because I lost a lot of times by playing this stuff. So I decided to play c6, which makes sense. I'm defending everything, kinda defending everything, and now I decided to play knight on e5, which makes a lot of sense. Knight on f6, I have to castle as soon as possible, otherwise I can just resign. Now you could take the pawn. He decided to play bishop on g5 instead, which apparently is inaccurate, and if I play h6 is not equal, but I mean, I'm safe, I'm kinda safe. +1 is survivable, I'm just slightly worse. So let's say h6, apparently you need to go back, bishop on d2, and I'm saying that I can take the pawn, or I can play bishop on e4. Instead of doing that, I thought that developing a piece wasn't a bad idea. Well, apparently it is, because after they take and you castle, I mean, you had to castle, otherwise what are you going to do? They can play e4. They can play e4. Why? I mean, I can just take it, can't I? Let's say I take. Bishop take on f6. Saying g takes. But, well, if I take this way, okay, makes sense. But what if I take with the knight instead? What is the problem? So bishop take, queen take. And now there is g4. Oh, okay. g4, I go back. Knight take. I have to take, because the queen is hanging, and I lose a piece. That's it. Yeah, we both missed that. It's not super easy to find. But yeah. So he decided to take instead, which I thought wasn't super correct, and I spent a lot of time calculating the right way to take. So this is the only part of the game where I actually played well, and where, I mean, my experience came up. So in this position you need to think a lot, because it seems logical to take with the bishop, but if you take with the bishop you allow e4. So I thought, what about taking with the g-pawn? And there is a crazy line in this position, and I thought I was better after that. Apparently I'm not, because the best move is e4. So if you play e4, I thought that in this position you can take, they take, and at this point, yes, it was queen take. So queen take, not allowing this check, and apparently there is queen e2. Well, I thought something like this, I was safe, and if you take with the queen, and we played everything, I'm still up a pawn, so it is pretty weak, so I'm going to lose it, but I should be fine, which is true, but apparently there is just queen on e2, and my opponent has a ton of counterplay, which is what I missed. But instead of doing that, he decided to play knight on f3. If it's the first time, this is equal. This is absolutely equal, because yes, my strategy is damaged, but I have the pair of bishops. So the move is b5. If you play b5, which I didn't play, there is knight on e3 because this knight is super annoying. Now g6, and apparently you don't have discoveries, you don't have nothing. He's saying knight on e1, but let's say you play a3, knight on d5. I'm surviving, I'm holding, I shouldn't have a lot of problems. Instead of doing that, though, I was scared about playing b5, weakening the diagonal, and I decided to play c5. Now, that's the second mistake that you shouldn't do in a classical game. I play c5 and I thought, well, he's probably going to win the pawn, but I will figure it out. You can't say this in a rapid or a blitz game. You cannot say this in a classical game. Because after you have down a pawn, you can try to figure out something, but it's not easy to win it back. In a rapid or a blitz game, your opponent can make a lot of mistakes, but we're talking about classical. So if you see that something loses a pawn, don't play it. I played this, and I thought, well, I'm probably going to lose this pawn, but it shouldn't be a big deal, I have counterplay. That's not the way you should play. You should play this move if you see the line where you're going to win the pawn back. That's it. So instead of playing this move, I should have played b5 for this reason. So yeah, c5, d take, bishop take, and now you have a3. I saw this line. I saw all of this line, and I thought, well, I have counterplay, I will figure it out. Well, I don't even have a counterplay, my pieces are just bad. Like, it is pointless. Decided to play knight on d6. And now I go back with the bishop because, I mean, if you take, yeah, good luck. And now there is knight take on b7. I thought I was winning the pawn back. Because after queen on e7, you had to play something like this, knight on c5 or knight on a5, and I'm going to win the pawn. b5. I take the knight. I have to. Pawn take. And guess what? I cannot take this pawn. Because if I do that, there is a discovery and I'm going to lose the rook. I miss that. Of course I miss that. So now I'm down a pawn. So I felt like I was losing a pawn. This was how you lose the pawn. And is close to +3. Because my pieces are not good. I mean, this bishop is looking at nothing. Yeah, this bishop is fine, but you have a4, a5. I probably should play a5, blocking everything. And yeah, you can get in. That's the problem. So he played queen on a4, and now what if I play a5? I was thinking about a5, shouldn't be terrible. Well, apparently it's lost anyway. Yeah, because you get in, there isn't too much you can do about that. Let's say you play this, and I'm going to play this move. What? e3, king g7, rook ac1. How are you going to make progresses? I guess this way. So he's saying that I should take. Let's say I play a random move. Yeah, knight d4, and he's getting in without the piece. Yeah, he's getting in this. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, this pawn is super strong. Like, he's controlling really important squares, so he's slowly going to destroy me. So I decided to play rook on d8, which makes sense, then to take control of the file. He does the same. And now, apparently, I should take. So if I take rook take, well, he's still threatening this. So yeah, he's still saying rook d8, and I try to play everything. So if I manage to play everything, I might hold. But it's not that easy. Instead of doing that, I just decided to play e5. What is the point? You're not going to play this move anymore. So it kinda makes sense. He decided to go for the bishop, and I thought I had the win chance, because if you take my bishop, we have opposite colored bishops. Although, having opposite colored bishops and getting in an opposite colored bishop endgame is different, it's not the same thing. We still have all the heavy pieces. Yeah. So he decided to trade, which makes sense, but now he is just clearly better. I mean, he's up this pawn and he's going to slowly win this. I decided to trade. Rook d8. So I thought this was pretty sensible. If I trade everything, it should be a draw. But, well, first of all, doesn't have to trade, but you can also play bishop on d5, for example, and this bishop is a monster. You might threaten something like this. You might try to get in this way. And it's over. So at this point, I have some chance if I play f5 or king on g7. I decided to play rook d6, and this is the third mistake that you shouldn't do in a classical game or in every game. If you feel like you have the win chance and you don't see a way for your opponent to make progresses, take all the time you have, like a lot of time, to be sure there is nothing your opponent can do in order to win, and you should also try to find every try that your opponent has in order to win. What I did instead was, well, I'm going to waste time because he cannot do anything. Not even going to spend a lot of time, like I do for a few minutes. But in a position like this, if you need to spend 20 minutes, spend 20 minutes. Figure out how he can win and try to stop it. What I did instead was, well, I just wait because I don't think he has something. But I didn't really see that. Like, I wasn't sure about that. That's the point, which is a huge mistake. I'm just wasting time and throwing the game, because at this point, instead of playing rook d8 back, which I played, which is stupid, is super stupid. What is the point? I mean, the rook is better on this position. Instead of playing rook d8, I could have tried to play something else, for example, queen on d8, as he says. But yeah, rook back, which is not terrible, but I'm going to lose if I keep doing this, because it's going to make progresses. Rook back is plus 2.5 again, because he has this move. Like, I shouldn't have allowed all of these, and now I'm losing. Because if I go back, how is it going to win? Well, it's going to show you pretty fast. So, you just play rook on b1, and you win. Rook on b1 is over. Why? Well, if I move the bishop, you get in. Good luck. If I do nothing, he's playing a5 and it gets in. So I played rook on b8. What is the point after you play a5? I have bishop on c5. So if you play this, I just take. And if queen take, I defend the queen. So you're not going to promote. There is a problem though. After you play this, and I take, you can take with the pawn. What is the difference? The difference is that after I play something like queen on b8, which I thought was a decent move, you can just take on f6. So it's not a decent move. So this was losing, completely losing. He decided to play king on f1, which gives me time to consolidate a bit and play queen on d6, for example. But instead of doing that, I played f5. The point is that if I manage to play e4, I might actually hold, because this pawn is pretty weak. He still has a5, but he played bishop on d5, which is still a pretty good move. So I decided to play e4, blocking the bishop and try to attack him somehow. a5. And now it's over. Because after I play this, rook take on b8, queen take on b8, c7, which I missed. At the point I was like, yeah, I was making weird faces, something like that. Because I couldn't even see the point. The point is that it's not giving me a pawn for free. I mean, I knew that, so I spent some time trying to figure out what was it going to do. I was tired at this point. We already played in the morning. Yeah. It is also a simple tactic, it's not crazy to say. So you push the pawn, I take, and you play this. I move, you win 2 pawns. I played bishop pawn before, he decided to play a6, and now, I mean, I know he's going to win. He is strong, he is pretty strong, especially in endgames. I resigned at this point, I mean, it's kind of pointless to play. I decided to lose. I played horribly. Okay, what can I say? So, yeah, you can see in this game I played everything wrong. There is nothing good to learn from this game, although there are a lot of bad things to learn that you shouldn't play. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I hope next time I'm going to beat him, because my score against him is 2 losses and 1 draw, which is not fair enough. So yeah, that's it for today guys, and see you in the next video.